Good evening and welcome to round 7 of SSRI GT4 here at Zolder this evening for what is going to be, we hope, one very exciting race tonight. It is round 7, as we say. We've got one more round after this one. The championship is not yet decided. Aaron Martin Pilkington leading the pack as he has done for most of the season on 344 points from Bart Zeewink with 330 close behind in second place. It's going to be exciting. Zolder holds no punches. Lots of opportunities for some side-by-side racing, very tight for overtaking. It's going to be a real battle this evening, I believe. To take us through the action, we have Chris Hill and Brian Larson. Good evening, Brian.
Evening, Steve. Everything good?
Yes, my friend, very good, very excited for this one. Zolder, it's one of those tracks, it's a Marmite track, as we say. It's a love it or hate it. I actually love it. I think it's a great track. It's a very technical track. It's difficult to pinpoint that perfect lap every single time because there's so many curbs you've got to run over to get that best optimum time, and it's difficult, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good track. Chris, where does Zolder rank in your favourite track list?
It ranks in the all-time greats of Belgium, in the top 2, in all fairness. So I don't mind it. I prefer some of the chicanes not to be there and be long straights, and the odd corner in there. Basically, I think you've just gathered that I'm not very good. As we've seen through the GT3 races this year.
Yeah, I think the chicane you're talking about is that Kleiner chicane, the first one with the very savage curbs where if you get it spot on you can literally make up half a second at least, but if you get it wrong you can be into the barrier. That's the one, isn't it, I believe, Chris?
Absolutely, it's horrendous, and you quite easily launch your car, and unfortunately track limits there are quite strictly controlled by ACC, so you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, actually they are, like you say, quite strictly controlled there, but at the Villeneuve chicane, the next one along, you can be quite, shall we say, adventurous with the track limits there. You see some of the cars almost literally completely over the curbs and straight lining that chicane and gaining a big advantage, and it's very important there at that at the Villeneuve chicane to get a good exit out of there, because literally you've got the couple of right-handers and you're almost full throttle. Once you've gone through that first right-hander you are full throttle all the way down to the almost hairpin that I'm not going to attempt to pronounce.
Turn 8.
Yeah, that's the one, turn 8. I can pronounce turn 8. But yeah, you're pretty much full throttle, and that's why I was saying in the build-up there, this track, it is very technical. There's so many points to get right, and it's so easy to get some of them wrong and not get that perfect lap in. So it's going to be a good one tonight, I think, chaps.
Absolutely. Brian, where does it rank with you?
Well, I like Zolder, but I don't like the small margins of error, because you got, like Steve said, the Klein chicane. It's if you get it right, it's so awesome. If you get it wrong, you get a track cut and the car bounces and takes off to the moon, more or less. And then coming down to the triple turn 7, where I believe it's a bit off camber, you really get the car slowed down, but again, a great point to overtake, and if you master that area, it's perfect. You gain so much time. So, but it's still it's a good little track, and for these GT4 cars, I think it's just it's a perfect match.
I think it does suit the GT4s very well.
Yeah, just looking at Aaron Martin Pilkington, Chris, I mean, he's had a pretty good run in the championship, hasn't he? He's been pretty consistent, albeit last time out where I believe he actually retired, didn't he? He had a bit of an issue on the opening lap where he didn't qualify on pole. He was up at the front, but he ended up having a little bit of a coming together, dropped down the field, almost, I think, if I remember rightly, he was pretty much stone dead last, and then battling his way through the field, he was maybe a little bit aggressive or a little bit ambitious, one or the other or both tied together, and had a few more incidents which saw him, I believe, retire. So but he's still leading the championship, and he's making good use of that BMW, and he's pretty quick at the moment. He's half a second clear on provisional pole with just over 11 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. it be a brave man that bet against Aaron Martin Pilkington for this championship at the moment, don't you think, Chris?
I think you're absolutely right there, Steve. If I recall correctly, and apologies for not being completely factually correct here, there's 50 points for a win, there's 45 points per second.
Correct, yeah.
Although Aaron can't seal the championship tonight, he can make a really great step forward to win it. It all depends where Bart finishes. I'd just like to say hello to everybody in YouTube watching us. I can see that Bart's teammate, Mr. Franz van der Linden's in there. Bart was in there before, so I've asked him what he was doing there. He's supposed to be practicing. And we've got quite a few other people in there. Abu Baker, Chris Vickers, Lottie Robertson has just joined. Good luck to everyone tonight. And we hope you enjoy the stream that we're bringing you.
Yeah, thanks for joining the stream, guys. It really is. It's a massive part of the SSRI community and family. It really does help when we get those comments coming in, and we love the interaction on the stream. So just let us know your thoughts on the race tonight. But yeah, Bart he's currently in P4. He's on a hot lap now. We saw him just gathering his thoughts as he started this lap, and he's just taken that Kleiner chicane with a little bit of gusto there and bounced over the curves. But all good. The car was pointing in the right direction. He could just do to be on that front row with Aaron, couldn't he, tonight? If that's where Aaron's going to qualify, he could do to be alongside. If he could get a win tonight to claw 5 points back, that would make the final round in January absolutely a cliffhanger with those two, because they would be pretty close on points. Then it would be pretty of a barnstormer if Pilco takes the win tonight and extends that lead by another 5 points. He's sort of although he can't seal the championship tonight, he's just that big step closer, isn't he? He's almost got it in the bag. While we're talking about championships, we cannot forget Bas van Mellis. I mean, he's currently 3rd overall in the championship and he's in an AM, so he's only got 2 pro drivers ahead of him, so that's a fantastic position to be in for Bas. But also we were just talking off air earlier, myself and Chris. His performances have almost been understated because we've not been constantly talking about him. We do try and cover all the classes in the broadcast, but we've not been talking about Bas because he's just been there, just getting the job done, doing what he needs to do, getting the results, and he's done a fantastic job, and that is reflected in the fact that he's not only leading the AM Championship, but he's 3rd overall in the complete standings. That's a great achievement.
It's fantastic, and how would we not miss that car? We're looking at it on screen. It's such a beautiful livery car, and I believe it was his daughter's idea to paint it that colour.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those, but I know Bas did say it was his daughter's idea to do that. But Bas it's one of those things, isn't it? You often say that a driver that's not coming up on the radar, somebody we're not talking about all the time, they're probably doing the job right, especially if they're up where Bas is at the moment in 3rd place. I mean, Brian, what's your thoughts on the championship? You've been following the GT4s at all with us this season?
To be honest, no. But it's still it's interesting because the cars are sort of like GT3 is very evened out. So of course it comes down to practice making the setups and everything. But if you still look at the time, no doubt about it. Aaron in 1st place, he's got 0.3 of a second to 2nd place, and then you only got 0.3 of a second between them and the next 5 guys, so he's definitely in a league of his own, and it's just going to be amazing to see who actually comes up with for the 2nd spot, because it looks like Aaron is just taking the 1st spot away. Hopefully he doesn't have to disconnect us the last race, but yeah, that's racing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just got Sem Spenklink on screen at the minute in the Maserati, running the #1 plate on that car, and Sem, He certainly put on a show this season for us in the Maserati. Obviously, no driver aids on that car. We say week in, week out. We remind the viewers, how difficult that car is to drive, and he's putting some good performances in the wet and the dry with the car. Although it's resisting him every single time he turns in, every time he gets to a braking zone, every time he gets on the loud pedal, he's got to deal with something the car's doing that he doesn't really want it to do. And I'm going to throw it over to Chris. Chris, you had a bit of practice in this car at the weekend.
I did. I was intrigued because I'm planning on doing the GT4 season next year, and I'm still deciding which car to drive. And I thought I've seen Sam drive this and going sideways constantly. I thought I'd have a bit of a go at it. My initial reaction is it's such a beautiful sounding car when you're inside the car. It's hard not to want to drive it for that reason, but it is a driver's car, so in my hands it's a waste of time, in all fairness. But Sam, if he doesn't go ice racing at some stage, I'd be very surprised, because he's constantly looking out the side of his window rather than the windscreen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got limited experience with the Maserati. I'm not brave enough to race it. As we just see, this is on board with Sem now, and you're just experiencing a massive amount of understeer there as he threw it into turn one. And again, there, look, he's having to wait for it to start to turn before he can really start to push the car or put it under any load. And obviously, that's not conducive to the fastest of lap times. The longer you're off that throttle, you're hemorrhaging time. But credit to him. I mean, I drove it and I enjoyed driving it, but to try and attack and to try and drive fast in it it's another level, and it's not a level that I can achieve.
I think I experienced the opposite, to be honest. I think it was more oversteer than understeer. Well, there's no driver aids on that car at all. There's no ABS and there's no traction control, so it's all done through the feel of the car.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at the timings at the moment, and we've got 4 minutes left, and there he is, Aaron Martin Pilkington, currently sat in the pits, quite comfortable. We've got Danny Deswart still out on track in P2 at the moment, but he's still 3.5 tenths off that provisional pole time of Pilko. It looks like Pilko has really set the bar high this evening, and the boys and girls behind are struggling to get close, because 3.5 tenths of a second doesn't sound a lot, but in racing terminology it's a big margin, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, but you see the top 18 guys, they're actually within a second of each other. If you take away Aaron in first place, from second to 18 you're within 1 second, so Aaron's just he's just on another level.
Seems to be, doesn't it?
When you see the margin between him and second place, and then see the margin between the guys after him, it's just that he found something in the car, or his skill is just that much better than the others. So, but coming back to Sam about the Maserati, I've just been looking through the sign-up sheet, and there's actually only 2 Maseratis signed up, and Regan Mitchell was signing up on the other one, but unfortunately he hasn't really raced with it. So it's back to the GT3s and having to select the Porsche compared to all the other cars, like we saw in the charity run a few weeks back, where there was actually a team decided going for the Porsche for a 24-hour race. Something similar health-wise and driver skill-wise to get it to run perfectly. So it's if he can get this car to perform even in 10th place where he is now, is still awesome, because the help the others are getting, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Maserati, we won't go on about it too much longer, but the Maserati, it's the consistency that you struggle to get, because you can maybe, I won't say fluke a perfect lap. Sem's a very capable driver, but to do that lap in, lap out is so difficult, because that car, it does try and bite you at every corner. Just going back to Aaron Martin Pilkington, he's entered 8 races and he's won 5 of them. Now you would say that that's a dominant championship so far for him, but Bart in second place entered 8, won none so far, but he's always been there or thereabouts on the podium. I think he's had a couple of seconds, but he's not managed to get on that top spot. And then you go down to Andreas Garlin, who's in 7th place, and he's had 2 wins, but he's sort of been a bit hit and miss where he's had the wins, and then other weeks he's been well down the order. So it's, you know, the guys are tripping up over themselves almost following Aaron Martin Pilkington. Yes, he's showing some good pace here, but I don't think that the lap time today is a great lap time, but I don't think that's a reflection on the championship overall. Yes, he's been in control, but I don't think he's absolutely dominated it on lap time. Let's not forget, Brands Hatch was a fantastic battle all the way around for the full, you know, for both races. We had 2 races there. You know, we've had some good battles with Aaron. He hasn't had it all his own way, and he's had to work damn hard to get some of those wins, hasn't he, Chris?
He has. If I recall correctly, did Andres win one of the Brands Hatch rounds?
I believe he did, yes.
I can't remember if Aaron won the second round there. To be honest, anybody think I should have facts in front of me?
Yeah, Andreas won the first race and finished second the second race.
Okay. So
and
yeah.
And Aaron vice versa.
Well, that's qualifying over, chaps. The clock has hit 0, and there's Andreas Garlin currently in 4th place. He's almost improving his roundabout, matching his time, half a tenth up at points, but he's not going to see any big improvement, and I don't think he's going to be challenging for that provisional pole. He's on the 2nd row currently, and I think that's where he's going to stay. Looking at everybody else's relative times, nobody's really improving at the moment, so I think qualifying's all done and dusted, and it looks like Pilkington's got that pole position with Deswart in 2nd place alongside him, Valenduck and Garlin on the 2nd row as they're still to complete their laps. But yeah, I think that's how it's going to stand, and we're in for a cracker here at Zolder. But what I'm going to do, Chris and Brian, is I am going to have to rest my voice for a little bit because I am croaking and coughing and carrying on. I am going to jump in with you guys, but I'm going to let you two do as much of the talking as you can, and I will be there for assistance as and when you need me, guys.
Thank you very much for your time, Steve. It's greatly appreciated. And just looking at that, the top 12 was within 1 second of the fastest time, Brian, which is again throughout this season we've seen quite close qualifying sessions with about a second between the top 10, top 12, which bodes well for the race. But the race is a completely different thing, isn't it? Because such a small track, so many chicanes. Are there going to be any incidents we'll need to be talking about? We won't know until the start of the race. And how do you think Pilco's going to get off the line? Is Bart going to advance up the grid, so to speak, and hopefully put some pressure on Pilco?
Well, it's all down to the beginning of the race, as you said. All the cars are bundled together, and you got these. You got the Klein chicane where everybody wants to get through as quickly as possible. So I can only imagine that with a tight pack of cars, there will be some incident coming through there. But I was just looking at the sector times of the different cars, and if you look at sector 2, Pilco is actually 0.2 of a second up on everybody else exactly in sector 2. So I believe the sector times it should be that chicane that he just mastered perfectly. So but it's anything can happen in the beginning of the race with bumps and small touches and stuff like that. But the first couple of laps is definitely going to be important because I think there will be some incidents with them. As you said, top 12 within 1 second. So it's everybody wants to get ahead, and hopefully we can get all the cars through in a normal manner, not just putting the head away and then just racing with the heart.
So absolutely. I'm just struggling to find something. I do apologise. We're just going to run through the grid. So we've got Aaron Martin Pilkington. That's why I call him Pilko. In pole position, Danny Swart in second, Yannick Valenduk in third, Andres Garlin in fourth, Sander Vale in fifth, Bart Zwerink in sixth, Dimitri Schenk seventh, Bas van Mellis in eighth, Pete Vanya in ninth, Sem Spenklin in the Lawton Maserati in 10th, Dennis Workman 11th, Mike Abranoza in 12th, Jordi Bakker 13th, Tom Young 14th, Ian Lomans in 15th, Patrick Vance in 16th, Colin Hines 17th, Luke Pound, our Rip Car racer in 18th, Daniel Orchestra in 19th, Nicholas Millot in 20th, Evan Natfas in 21st, Frank Hopp 22nd, in Soap 23rd, and I can't go any further, thank you. Schalke Vervat in 24th, Jean-Paul Eichelboom 25th, Patrick Tractor or Treffers as his real name in 26th, James Lycan 27th.
And just bear in mind, Chris, you got Dimitri Schenk and Bas 7th and 8th place is actually AM drivers, so they are right in the mix with the pro drivers. But as Steve said earlier, that Bas was actually sort of like the hidden factor. He's been keeping his head down and really producing some good results through the season. So it's funny to see how two AM drivers sort of is mixed with all the pro drivers.
It is, and Bas is obviously leading the AM class, and Dimitri's 5th in the championship. Have we got that right? Yes, 5th in the AM class. So Dimitri wanting to score some points. He's currently on 219. With a good amount of points, he can jump up that grid. He'll certainly get past Stefan Arvidsson, who's in 8th, because Stefan's not racing tonight, and that's the gentleman that owes you pizza.
Yeah, I remember that. But am I looking right at saying that James Lyke is actually the leader of the program, or am I get the details? Is it Bas van Mellis with the leading?
Bas is in 3rd place in overall, and he's also leading the AM championship. James Lyke is in 3rd.
Right. Okay. That's because I don't have the result from this Laguna Seca. So fair enough. Well, we're about to start 1 hour race.
Soon know if Pilko can get off the line.
Yeah, let's see the start. There's going to be a lot going on. So I think let us just speak for the racing. Green. All cars go.
It's a good start from Pilko.
Yeah, he gets very clean there. A bit wide. Oh.
Is Yannick going to get him into the second corner? Dukes of Hazzard livery car.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for some cardboard boxes on this outlap. It's not an outlap, is it? On the first lap, Danny Swart runs wide. There's a car on the grass there. We've got all cars away cleanly. There's a few lagging behind at the back, so I suspect there's something happened there. I'm sure we may get a replay of that shortly.
Yeah.
We're coming to the first climb chicane. It's Yannick Valenduk leading Pilko, Andres Garlin in 3rd, Danny Swart 4th, and Bart's up to 5th. Yes, Bart's up to 5th. Sander Vale up in 6th. How close Danny is to Andres here.
Yeah, we just have to update the leaderboard with the cars changing position, so it takes a bit of time just to get used to exactly who's up and who's down the position.
I believe they've just gone around the corner that we can't pronounce.
Corner 8, we decided.
Corner 8, turn 8, yeah. And they come to complete the first lap going to the Jackie X corner. It's Valenduke in first, Pilco quite close behind. And as we watch the replay of the start here to see what happened, Frank Hopp got bunted, and these both ran into the back of somebody as well there.
Yeah, everybody wants to get ahead, but nobody wants to stay back, so that's just how it is now and again. A couple of cars in front just brakes a little bit more than what they actually normally do, and just got taken out like a bit of a surprise, but hey, that's racing, and normally it's something that happens in the first few laps.
Sam's up 2 places as well. Bass looks like he's lost out a couple of places.
Yeah, it looked like Sam Spengling just got a little bit more luck getting through the first lap than Sam did, but Bass did, sorry. So, but yeah, still very, very close, and you see Aaron just lining up Wellington just to get him, but
so close.
Yeah.
Oh, and Garlin wants a piece of the action as well. Look at this.
Garlin wants to be in there as well and hoping to join Aaron getting past Wellington, maybe making a bit of a mistake, but yeah, he's definitely wanted to see that, just sitting, watching, waiting, and seeing where Aaron can actually make a little bit of a hit point.
I think slash words, Garen's going to get him into the first corner here. Andreas closes up with the Rafael Pettis. Andreas going to try and go to the second corner. Oh, that was close. I think he had to get on the brakes quite quickly there.
Yeah, and then you got Andreas now lining Pilco up. So seems like Pilco's got a little bit of a problem sitting there in second place. Having to defend and also having to contend for the lead is not always easy.
It isn't, but he doesn't have to win the race. We don't have to forget. I know he wants to win as many races as possible, but he doesn't have to win it. He could do points, win mates prizes, and build up on that championship lead he's got. As long as he keeps Bart behind him, he'll go into the final round with quite a comfortable lead.
Yeah, Bart's sitting down in 5th place, just one of the guys in the train, to be honest. Got top 10 cars within 1 second, so everybody's just sitting, waiting, hoping that the guy in front will make a mistake and they'll be able to gain some time and maybe gain a place or two.
Is this Sem trying to get past Dimitri? He's got him. Dimitri loses 2 places in 1 corner. Quite tight defending there from Dimitri. Didn't pay off, unfortunately. And it's Big Vanya and Sem touch each other. Not in that way. Sem, there we go. He's used to driving sideways. He should be able to get back on the track quite comfortably.
And again,
second contact.
Maybe a little bit of a bad rejoin, to be honest, but yeah.
I'm sure the stewards may look at that at the end of the race if there's any complaints.
Yeah.
So we're back with the leaders now. Phil's got a good run on Yannick here.
But he's been really strong in Sector 2, mind you. Looking through the qualifying times, and he was almost 0.3 of a second up on anybody else in Sector 2. So it says on this track is definitely a strong point. So if it's through the chicane or if it's just carrying speed through turn 3, I don't know, but he's definitely strong in the second sector, but they are really bunched up by now. So I think Valenduck is just keeping the guys behind him, maybe spending a lot of time defending because he knows Aaron is just on his tail and he doesn't want to give this one away.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes difficult to talk whilst you're watching these races.
Here we go.
I mean, I don't think they'll go getting him.
Well,
Might stay up the second corner.
Again, he's still defending a lot, but still looking through how close they were coming in to the start-finish line, and then seeing through turn one. They actually managed to get away from the rest of the pack over just 2 turns. So
guys, I'm coming back in live because as someone's pointed out in the YouTube chat, if you look on the timing tower on the left, we've got 2 purple indicators showing that the fastest lap has been set, and you say that that's 2. Yes, indeed it is. Aaron Martin Pilkington and Yannick Valenduck have set exactly the same best times of 1:37.165, both exactly on the nail. Now we see that sometimes in qualifying, but in the race it's quite rare to see that. But that's how hard Aaron's pushing Yannick, and Yannick's doing the job he's got to do to keep Aaron honest behind him. But yeah, to both of them 1:37.165, exactly the same lap times. So great job from these guys at the moment. But I'm just going to bring you back to your point, Chris. I think you were totally spot on when you said that Aaron, he does not need to win this race. He just really, his eyes should be on where Bart is, and Bart's currently in 5th place, and if he's in front of him, he's extending that lead, isn't he? And you know, as much as he's pushing there and he's trying to push Yannick, he's doing the right thing. He's trying to pressure Yannick, but I don't think he's going to do anything sort of silly, is he? He's not going to send it, as should we say.
No, he isn't, and we must remember there's also a mandatory pit stop in this race for tyres only, which has been brought around because of the 1.8 update to this platform. As Bart and Andres collide there, unfortunately Andres didn't go off. So, you know Pilko better than most people, well certainly better than myself. What do you think his mentality is? Do you think it's go for it? Or
Yeah.
do you think he's
No, he's still got to go for it. Attitude as Aaron. He will try and win this race all the way. He won't want to settle for that position. And we saw in qualifying, he has got the pace. He's got the pace to win the race. He was 2.5-3 tenths quicker than anybody else in qualifying. But he will have in the back of his mind that the championship is there to be won, and he'll want to get a good strong finish this time out, considering last time, like we say, I think he parked it in the pits, so he didn't score as the points he needed last time out. But yeah, I think he'll still be going for it. He's still going to push, but I just don't think we'll see any gung-ho risque moves. He'll do what he needs to do. He'll bring it home. He will have one eye on Bart behind him, but Bart's still in 5th place, struggling to try and get past Andreas. He's been held up by Andreas. I am currently watching that battle on another monitor at the moment. They're not as close as these 2 guys, but yeah, he's got Garlin to deal with, and then he's got Deswart as well before he can get anywhere near Pilko. I do think if Pilko can get past Valenduck, no disrespect to Valenduck, I think Pilko will gap him. I think he'll stretch away if he can get in front.
It's just those good old boys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meaning no harm.
That car that's been rebuilt many times, and they use the same shot to do. How many times did you see it jump a ditch, and it was the same ditch every single time?
You're joking.
I'm sorry, mate. I've shattered your illusions, haven't I? There, you were there on a Saturday evening. Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. Slightly digressing. Sorry. Also, it looks like James Lack has got a drive-through penalty already. That can only be for track limits, can't it?
Yeah, at this stage in the game, it's got to be track limits, and that's a bit early to be getting those. But as we said earlier in the build-up, those chicanes, you can abuse the limits on some, but not on others. It's I'd say the track limits round Zolder. So there we go, Pilko. He's trying to go up the inside there. There was always going to be contact. That's got to be one of the harder chicanes to try and get a pass at, because that is one of the chicanes where you can be a little bit flamboyant, shall we say, with the track limits. So it's easy to defend and try and straight line it, and it usually ends in contact there. It's got to be both drivers have got to be compliant to get that pass done there. But Pilko, as I said, is showing that intention, isn't he? But he's got to be careful, because Danny DeSwart nearly pounced all over the back of him then, and he was ready for that opportunity, and that's the last thing that Pilko needs right now, is to lose a position as he's trying to gain one, and he's trying to get in front. But what we will see now is Pilko's pace. He's dropped off nearly a second from Valenduk. Valenduk's got an opportunity now to drive his lines and put his normal lap times in without having to defend from Pilko, but I think Pilko will close that gap up pretty quickly.
He will do. I'm failing to understand how Danny got in front of Andreas, because was not Andreas not right behind? Am I watching this?
No. Andreas Garlin's in 4th, Bart Zeewink in 5th, Danny DeSwart's always been in 3rd.
Right. I do apologise. I'm going to start paying attention.
It's okay, mate. It's okay. It's all going on. It's GT4 racing. It all happens here at SSRI. And then when the GT4s are on track, it's absolutely fantastic battling as always. And Zolder is not disappointing. Pilko's closing that gap up now. He's almost back to half a second. That BMW looks pretty settled through that chicane there, didn't it? Where we've seen some of the Porsches hopping over there, looking a little bit almost like you've just got to hang on to them, but that looked fairly comfortable for both the BMWs there. And look at that, Pilko's right back on to Valenduk again, and any thoughts that Valenduk had of taking it easy and just concentrating on himself and not worrying about Pilko, they've gone out the window now, because Pilko's right back at him and sat back on his bumper.
Yeah, it's Sector 2 again, Brian. Sector 2 again. Pilko's right back there.
He's just, well, watching the qualifying sectors, and he's definitely got something special on his sleeve in Sector 2. So, car setup, just getting that extra line through the chicane. He's definitely got something on the other guys.
Kieran's saying in the stream a bit earlier that they did find something in the setup at weekend, so that might be what's helping Pilko tonight. Obviously, he must have somebody in the garage helping him, a young lad. Still at university, all the way from Hertfordshire. Hiya, Kieran. As we see,
I was wondering where you were going with that punchline then, Chris. I was waiting for it. And as usual, it was a bit of an anticlimax. But Pilko's this just to as you can see the relative times on the left hand side of your screen. Bas van Mellis in 10th, he's only half a second off Dennis Workman in 9th place, so that's a potential battle we're going to skip to at some point. But at the moment this is the closest battle on track, and these two guys are giving us a good show here. Valenduk giving Pilko a lesson in defending, and Pilko certainly putting the pressure on. DeSwart is doing well, he's just hanging on there in 3rd place, he's not doing anything silly. I don't think he's got the pace of Pilko. He couldn't stay with Pilko to go up to Valenduk, but I think he's pretty much matching Valenduk. His best lap's a 37.2 compared to these two guys in front with that 30. Well, Pilko's now done a 36.7 flat, so he's taken that fastest lap all to himself at the moment. So Pilko's definitely got the pace. He's definitely applying the pressure, and he's just got to keep working the back of Yannick Valenduk. I mean, I know you're not used to it, Chris, but how do you deal with that pressure of someone behind you like that trying to get past? Do you just focus on do you focus forward? Are you just driving what you can see ahead, and it's up to them to go around? Is that the attitude?
I try and drive my own lines and let them get past me where they want, but I do go defensive. GT3 season last year, I was quite defensive. Hungaro ring with Glass Wester in the GT3, as I've just said in GT3 3 times now. So I hope the GT3 car appears in my bedroom.
Are you sure it was GT3?
Yes.
Okay.
It was GT3.
Okay.
But yeah, defended quite well from Glass Wester for quite a considerable amount of time. But yeah, I forgot what the question was now, Steve. Was it what day is it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, it's whatever the question you want, whatever you want it to be. You just give us an answer, mate. It'd be nice to get an answer out of you once in a while. But anyway, Kieran Vidago says I'm a bit harsh there, saying I know you're not used to it, but I think Chris really just smoothed over that comment very, very well, and he's the consummate professional. And talking of professionals, just a quick shout out while we were waiting for Pilco's. He just struggled to get the best exit there. He tried to get on the power as the BMW resisted, and he would have had the inside to try and get out of that corner and get alongside Valandup, but he just couldn't get the drive. But yeah, speaking of professionals, obviously a lot of you that are used to a professional commentator by the name of Tim Fulbrook will notice, I think you may have noticed, he's not here this week, but yeah, Tim's just taking a bit of time out. He's got family commitments, and I think he's doing a bit of moonlighting in a red suit and a beard somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where.
Well, it's good that you found the next best thing to Tim then. So, happy to be here, Chris and I. Well, I am happy to be here. I don't know about Chris, but
I won't.
Here.
Yeah, you two guys have got big boots to fill, and you're doing a pretty good job so far, guys. And yeah, I'm certainly enjoying the coverage. I'm enjoying this race so far, and hopefully everyone in the stream is. But as Valandup is having to drive defensive there, that's going to slow him down, and you can see De Swart now was closed right back up. De Swart gets a massive, fantastic exit there out of the chicane, and literally just drives by Pilco. Pilco just lost it after a couple of laps ago. I was saying how smooth the BMW looked to ride those curbs and looked really well. I think Pilco was pushing that bit hard, and now De Swart's the man, he's the aggressor, he's the one that's pushing Valandup, and Valanduk's got a different paint scheme in his mirror now. Pilco, that's not what he wanted to do, is it, Chris?
It certainly isn't. This lap has been a bit blurry for him, really. In the background we've got Bart and Andres still going at it, hammer and tong. Now will Danny send it into the final chicane? He's thinking about it. Zolder tries the dummy. Yannick's obviously a bit wise to that. But here we go.
He's doing what Pilco couldn't do. He's getting that BMW. He's got the drive out the corners. Valanduk's having to try very, very hard to defend. The BMW's come back on. Yeah, the BMW's come back on him on pure power there, because De Swart did get alongside him on the exit, but the BMW in the mid-range power there just seemed to pull ahead again of the Merc. But look who's back. Pilco's back. And he's putting the pressure on again. He's turning that line a little bit tighter. He's showing De Swart down the inside his headlights. He's putting him under pressure, and now De Swart's become the meat inside that BMW sandwich. Pilco just needs to just concentrate, 'cause I think the way they're going, there's going to be these two are going to slow down, because there might be a little bit of rubbing through one of the corners, and Pilco might be able to do what De Swart did to him and just take advantage.
I think it looks like Pilco could maybe just sit back a little bit and wait for something to erupt just in front of him, because it seems like this could end in tears for the first and second place, to be honest. They are racing really aggressively, and Pilco's, I think he's got the upper hand, as we've seen him following Yannick at the start of the race. He's definitely quicker than Yannick in some parts, but coming through that fast chicane, where I think most of his advantages over the lap just got him caught out. So it's never easy to sit back and just wait for somebody else to make the decision for you. But seeing that you still got Andreas and Bart and Bale coming up behind him as the chasing pack, and they're definitely coming up ever so slowly.
Yeah, well, that's another problem now, isn't it? Because if I was Pilco now, you sat there, the pit window is open, you sat thinking, you know, I'm struggling here, I can't get past these guys. One option would be to try and pit early, but do that, you're going to come back out into traffic. And with the top six now being so close together, literally sort of 2 or 3 seconds, you know, almost covers the top 6 cars, it can do you more harm than it's going to do you good pitting early. So he's just going to have to knuckle down and try and do something here. He needs to try and get at least back into that second place, because as we see in the background there, that's Bart Zawin just gone through on Garland. So now Pilco's championship rival is right behind him, and that's not what he wants to see. He wants to be pushing forward. I don't think Pilko will be too worried about it at the moment. He's still obviously in front of Bart, but he won't want to start getting into a fight with him either as well. He'll want to try and push forward, and De Swart is really taking it to Valenduc now as well, just up ahead. He's pushing on. He's really trying to get that job done as we're coming into the hairpin now, but no, De Swart looks, but decides to tuck back in and take that wider turn in to get a good exit. And this is where the exit's it is all about the exit here now, because you've got the opportunity to get into almost that final braking zone before you come onto the start-finish straight, but he's not close enough. That BMW, it has got some poke, hasn't it, Brian, on that when it comes out the corners very, very well.
It seems like a really, really good all-round car, to be honest. Like the McLaren was in the old days, you know, it was a good all-round car. Got a bit of high speed, got really good acceleration. So, but it's just looking through the times down the order, they're very, very close. So it's difficult to see exactly who is actually on top of this, because they're really defending. And you see Danny De Swart now getting under pressure from Aaron, and yeah, it's let's see through the chicane. Aaron's been really strong getting through here, getting a lot of time, and it seems like the others, either he's just holding back a little bit, or the others just sort of found his mates in there.
Yeah, but also they're coming up against some back markers very, very soon, as you can see ahead. The other thing to mention, Garlin is down to 6th place now. Sandervale's got past him into 5th, so Garlin seems to have just lost a couple of positions in as many laps. But yeah, the fight's going to get more interesting now, because they're up against some back markers, and I think that is Frank Hopp that they're going to come across there first, who is battling with Nicholas Malott in P21, P22. So they're going to come up against these now, and it's how compliant are they going to be? Are they going to notice that there's 3? Oh, there you go, Pilko. He's gone into the pits. That he's decided that enough's enough. He's going to go into the pits. He's going to take his chances. He's going to come back out into the traffic, and he's rolled the dice. He's going to see what happens now. So Valenduc, De Swart, they're free to carry on. Bart Zerwink, he's obviously now, by the grace of a pit stop, gone ahead of Pilko. That he will have to make his mandatory pit stop. But yeah, it's all in the pit stop god's hands now, Chris.
It is, and 30 seconds for a pit stop, isn't it, for tyres, if I recall?
Yes, indeed.
And it's very important that you stop on your marks. Don't commit the cardinal sin of getting a drive-through straight after your pit, because if you do that, your race is completely over. And the back markers are doing well here to get out of the way and let this race go. Because the lot isn't a bad driver. I think last season he was quite well up in the championship, so it'd be interesting to see how quick Danny can get past. To put a lap on him. Sorry, I'm struggling to speak again.
No, it's fine, mate. I mean, it is difficult. I mean, we're watching and we're seeing all the action from all over the field, and you know they've really got to attack. They've got to be confident round here, because it's difficult to get a pass on. The cars that are behind them have all spread out a little bit. The field is spread out, so they're going to come across back markers quite regularly now. But in their minds now, they know Pilko's in the pits, so they know that they don't want to start losing any time, because if Pilko gets clear laps, he will jump them in the pits, because he has got the lap time under him, and I think there's a possibility. Your thoughts on that, Brian?
Yes, if you can get out into sort of like free space and just do your own thing, we know that Aaron is quick, so he might be able to do undercut, depending on what kind of tires he's out with. Just around halfway through the race, and depending on what tires they started on, what tires they're actually going to finish on. But still, Aaron is out. He's got a good gap over 17th place. But still bear in mind that before he's actually there, people start pitting before him, so this could actually work out his way if these two in front can't keep the pace up. If they start to slow down just ever so slightly because they're battling, that means just Aaron is going to be able to undercut him to the pit stop strategy.
Yeah, absolutely, and the pit stops here at Zolder as well is very interesting, as Lottie mentions in the chat, that you enter the pits, as you can just see on the shot there. You go straight down into a 90-degree left and then 90-degree right. It's almost a chicane as you go down there, but it's before the pit limiter, so it's technically it's a racing corner, because you've got to brake as late as you can going in, carry as much speed into the next one, and then fly down to where the pit board is. It's not the easiest pit entry, and there is lots and lots of time to be gained or lost there. As we see Valendup making a mistake, and Deswart's gone round there. Valendup just ran a little bit wide into turn 1, and that's it, job done. Danny Deswart up into P1 now, and Valendup just threw a little bit of a mistake there, been driving so well for the past 16 laps, and then just goes and makes a mistake into turn 1, runs wide, drops his wheels into the sand, loses some traction, some time, and Deswart manages to get the job done. He's gained 2 positions there from drivers making their own mistakes, got past Pilko earlier on, and then now he's got past Valendup, and that's what it takes, isn't it? That's what it's all about. It's just putting the pressure on that car in front, Chris.
It is, and that's not really making an impression on these two guys either. I was expecting him to close up into this battle. Now, whether that's because he's had to go past the back markers or not, I don't know. But this is a time where Bart really needs to get the hammer down. And I don't think he's going to get past Aaron. In all fairness, I think Aaron's played a good card there by going to the pits early. He knows that he's potentially being held up by Yannick. It'd be interesting to see what his current lap times are. He's been going faster than what he was before the pit stop. Now he's unleashed.
His last lap was his first flying lap, and it was half a second faster than anybody else on the track.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's been doing. Last lap was 1:37.0.
Absolutely, and yeah, it was 37 dead.
If you look up to everybody else, he's almost a second quicker than anybody else through the field. So he's definitely found the right time to go into the pit stop. So.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Danny Deswart's time, and his last lap was a 37.9, and we know that obviously he had that overtake and he was a bit of a battle. But Bart Zewink 1:37.7, and like we say, Pilko's 37 flat, so it's a good half to 3/4 of a second quicker than anybody else. Good evening to Mark Neutling's better late than never, where you could have also joined us in the commentary booth, Mark, and we could have had a bit more banter with you. But you're always welcome. The door's always open. Jump in whenever you're ready.
And Yannick's pitted as well. We didn't spot that at the time. Currently got 3 people in the pits.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Yannick, he lost that position, and I'm wondering if he thought, it's time to go, get rid of that pit stop and come back out again and see where I lie, because obviously something was unsettling him. He just made that bit of a mistake, and his lap times had dropped off a little bit. So I'm wondering if he wanted some fresh tyres on, as we see Zewink going into the pits as well now. So it's all going on now. They're all going into the pits, and they're all trying to get that mandatory stop done. So we're going to see where it's going to shake out. Interestingly, Pilko there, the timing tower's just reset. He is at the front, he's in front of Valendup, as you would expect almost, on track now, so he's got that job done in that pit stop. It's going to depend where Danny Deswart, when he goes in, where does he come out. That's going to be obviously the deciding factor now, but I think if Pilko can stay out of trouble, he's potentially got the job done.
Yeah, but seeing just
sorry, but I'm just going to have to point this out as well. Just going to throw this in there. His last lap was a 36.3, the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, which was 1 full second faster than Danny Deswart.
I was just about to say that he was Danny Deswart made 1:37.3, which was a quick time. But as you said, Steve, Pilko just made that 1 second quicker lap, so I think he did the right move, to be honest. Just seeing that he's got almost over 2 seconds over Yannick, so well, it's 3 seconds now. So
yeah, but I mean,
I think he's just happy to be away from the traffic, being able to do his own thing, and keeping the hammer down.
yeah, but I mean, like, you know, Chris, I'll throw this one to you. It's, you know, Pilko made that decision, as we saw, and he went into pit early and try and, you know, things weren't working out for him. It was a massive gamble, because he came out somewhere around about 17th, didn't he? And it's all too easy to get sort of caught up in somebody else's battle when you do that. It's still a big risk, isn't it, Chris?
Absolutely big risk. Don't know why you keep asking me these questions like I've ever had the opportunity.
Well, I know you're always the one that gets in the way of other people. Sorry.
No, you're right there, Steve. You said it, hit the nail right on the head there. But yeah, it was a massive gamble. But he's got a 3.5 second lead over Yannick now, and it'll be interesting to see where Danny comes out of the pits when he does pit. We're obviously just over halfway through the race. Focusing here on Sem, he's gone out 15th with his few incidents on the opening laps. Not driving as sideways as he normally is, but he's going to have to make those tyres last quite a long time.
Yeah, was it? Sem was saying that the latest update that we do keep talking about, because it has made such a big difference to the simulation overall. But the Maserati suffered big time with tyre wear and tyre temperatures. I think was it? Is in general chat he was talking about that. I think, Chris.
Yes. So I think with Dimitri is the controller of this championship and does a fantastic job. Has listened to what's been said by all the drivers, and that's why we've now got a mandatory pit stop for tyres. Previous to the update, we didn't have any pit stops. It wasn't a requirement. You could go from start to finish. Excuse me. Yeah, from start to finish without the need to visit that pits and put that extra risk in. But Jordi Bakker is right behind. Yeah. I'm getting confused now. How's that? Jordi's in 12. Yeah, Jordi's in 12. So is Jordi... Oh, it just settled itself. Sorry everybody.
It's the timing tower. It's an absolute pain. It's a pain in the backside. Yeah, it only updates round at the sectors. It's not live as the moves go on. So yeah, sometimes it can be way out, and you're looking at the cars and you think that's not the car I'm looking at, or that's not the position. But you get used to it after a while, and you just start to ignore it, and you just go with your gut feeling, because normally you're right. But yeah, Jordi Bakker there was right up behind Sem Spenkelin, but Sem's managed to drop him off, and Jordi's dropping back towards Dimitri Schenk now, who's going to look at having a go and see if that Mercedes can get the drive out of there and see if he can get anywhere near alongside him, and it's not looking like he can. And Jordi doing enough in that Aston Martin just to stay in P12 at the moment, but he's not doing enough to hang on to the back of Sem Spenkelin. Sem's pulling away from him by the looks of it.
Look where our friend Bass is at the moment, up in third. Obviously not made his pit stop yet, but I wonder when he makes his pit stop where he'll drop out into the field, and we'll...
Schenk going for the move there, just swapping a little bit of paint and rubbing door handles, and not in an affectionate way. Schenk going now round the outside. It's going to be hard pressed to get that job done from that position. The Aston Martin's got the inside line, but he's going to push. Is that Mercedes going to run wide? He's managed to run wide, but he's kept the drive, kept it on the track, but he hasn't got the job done. He's just having to fall back in behind, and a great defensive job from Jordi Bakker there, and just to keep that P12 fighting very, very hard for P12, Chris, aren't they?
They are. This championship is just battled throughout every round. We've watched very close battles. Always been enjoyable to watch. Hence why I wanted to jump in the commentary and absolutely get no sense over to anybody whatsoever.
You're doing as good as the rest of us, mate. We do it week in, week out, so it's great. As long as everyone enjoys it, that's the main thing.
And one thing that crossed my mind when you said rubbing door handles, what was that film? Rubbing is racing. Where did that come from? Was that Days of Thunder?
It was, mate. Yeah. Remember me?
Yeah, I remember you. I know we talked before about my memory, so I know that I'm talking to you, yeah.
Good lad. Good lad. You remember that was in the film as well then?
Yes, I do.
Still bear in mind we got Bass in 3rd place, and as an AM driver, that's just astounding. I mean, he's definitely got pace to move up to the Pro League next year. Or for the next season.
Yeah, just wait, just hold your horses there, my good friend. It's the timing tower that's catching you out there because it's not updated. Because Bass has been in the pits. Because if that timing tower had been correct, that would have meant Bass had done his pit stop and come out in front of Pilco, and I would have been jumping up and down and shouting if that was no disrespect to Bass, but that was a tall ask from where he was on the track. So yeah, Bass still in P9 though, obviously leading the AM class, which is what he needs to do. That's his aim for him, and also to score as many points as he can to see if he can maintain that 3rd place in the championship, which he's doing, as we said earlier, doing an astounding job to be P3 overall in the championship. But at this moment in time, there's a few little battles going on here and there. We've got Mike Abranosa here chasing down Xander Vale in 7th, BMW against Porsche, and the Porsche just doing enough to stay in front at the moment, but you would wonder how long for. Couple of drive-through. There's Peter Vanier in 17th and the Taffas in 20th, both with drive-throughs. They will be for track limits, and as we said earlier, you know, Zolder, it's quite tight on track limits. It's a narrow little track, lots of technical corners, lots of flat curbs that invite you to run over them, and when you do, it just pings up with that track limit warning, and there we see a couple of drive-throughs, which it's not nice, is it? It's pretty much race ending because it's literally a 30-second, well, a good 30-second drive down the pit lane. About 35 seconds I think it takes to drive from the pit in to the pit out board round here, Chris. So it's doesn't do your race any good.
It doesn't, and I hate to maybe correct you, but can you not get a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane?
Usually it's a stop-go for speeding in the pit lane, but it does depend on how far over the speed limit you are. If you're like micro kilometres over, then I think you'll get a drive through, but usually it's straight away, it's a stop go. So I'm gonna stick with the fact that the track limits, to be fair. That'll do.
It's fine. I wasn't trying to correct you fully. That's why I asked the question rather than said no, you're wrong. As both Pete Vanier and Devin Nafas served their drive-through by the looks of it, both at the same time. So it's the battle of the drive-throughs now, in 19th and 20th place.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Danny Deswart to make his pit stop, and he's going to make his way, isn't he? I foresee him staying out as long as possible at the moment, but I'm not 100% sure that that's potentially the best policy, because obviously his lap times, he's in the 38s at the moment, and Pilco's still running round in the 36s, so I know Danny Deswart may not know that, nobody's may be telling him that, but it's he needs to get to the pits, get a fresh set of tyres on, and run with some tyres on there, because I think if he keeps going at that sort of pace, we've got Valendup running in the 37s as well, so his hard work's going to be undone, and he's going to get jumped by 2 or 3 of the guys, potentially even Bart as well, because Bart's not far behind Yannick.
No, almost 6 seconds in. Sorry, 0.875. Oh, I can't read them bloody time diary anymore. I'll give up. Keep moving. Don't slow down. I can't keep up at my age. Yeah,
no, Bart's putting the pressure on, and he's got his eyes on Yannick. But I think Bart's aim for tonight to beat Aaron. He's going to struggle with that one this evening, because Aaron's done what he needs to do, and he's pushing on. Technically what will be at the front of the field. I believe he's done enough to get that lead back when Danny goes in. For me, the question is, when Danny pits, how far down the board will he fall?
Yeah, should we take a gamble? Should we say he's going to finish in 6th?
Yeah, I mean, let's get some chat going in YouTube, and you know, some of the guys out there that are fairly knowledgeable and usually have an opinion on stuff. Kieran, where do you think Danny Deswart's going to emerge out of the pits? Let us know in the chat, and we'll see who gets it right, and maybe somebody will send you a pizza if you get the right answer.
or maybe they won't. There might be absolutely no prize whatsoever to win, but it's just about taking the part, isn't it? Just like you were told at school.
we have to give a shout out for Denise Pope, who is actually racing the Gianetta GT4s. And I must admit, I know we're talking old school. I believe we can call it old school when we talk about the first Assetto Corsa and a brilliant mod made by an English guy called Clark, who is rather unfortunate among us anymore. He spent a lot of time developing this car and making it really his brand with this Gianetta class, and the GT4 class was just awesome. So with Denise Pope running in the Gianetta, it's a really good all-round car. And if I have to compare it to anything, not in ACC but in AC, I would compare it to the Porsche 911, which is also, or even McLaren 650S, which is really good all-round car.
Yeah, the Ginetta certainly makes for a good one-make championship, and Denise is certainly a driver to bring out the best of that car. She puts in good performances round after round, and quite often, you know, you hear Tim Fulbrook and potentially myself getting excited about her performances because she does move up the field, and quite often you can see her in the heady heights of the top 10 and battling for some high up positions. And Garlin there, I almost thought, is he going to the pits? What's he doing? He totally missed his braking point there and nearly had to go down the pit lane to avoid the contact.
Yeah, taking as many laps as seen, Andreas. He went off at just after the first corner of the previous lap, so he's having a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, it looked like Mark Abramovs had almost got taken out, but yeah, luckily Andreas just slided into the pit wall entry and then just got away from him. But yeah, I think we still got. Well, did Danny pit? He didn't, did he?
He's not pitted yet. No.
17 minutes.
Yeah, he's done 26 laps, he's not pitted yet, and as Chris quite rightly says, there's 17 minutes of the pit window still open. And we quite often see that some people, they do, don't they? They leave it till the last minute to do that pit stop. They maybe feel they've got an advantage in doing that. They're maybe if they're running in clear air or whatever, they've got the lap times, but it has to be said at the moment. Danny Deswart is now, I believe, he's entering the pit lane. So we will now see where he comes out in comparison to, well, everybody, because I think it's not a question of Aaron Martin Pilkington, is he going to get past him? He's definitely going to get past him, as Pilko now goes on to the start finish straight. I can tell you Danny Deswart's just been dropped off the jacks though.
So this isn't going to be close to Pilko, but it may be close between Bart and Yannick. So as we just saw them appearing in the background. In fact, I think Danny's
Yannick is going to be behind him.
He's not. He's in front. He's come out in second place. That's astounding. It's astounding for him. So that means that nobody is owed a pizza, which is great, because I've got no money. But yeah, that's great for Danny.
Yeah, it's proved us wrong there.
Yeah. Well, actually, secretly we knew about second. Sort of people in chat were very wrong.
Yeah, we have to put out there some provocative comments just to get chat going, but it didn't work. And yeah, Kieran says he was closest, but unfortunately there was no prize for anything, and there's definitely no prize for being closest. So if you're a millimetre off or a mile off, you're still not right.
Yeah, I think Lottie was the closest, to be fair. She said that it was going out fourth. So yeah, Kieran just corrected himself there.
Yeah, and Lottie says that her answer was double correct answer, so that means double pepperoni, right?
That's a very good thought. So 2 small Chicago town pizzas can be bought from your local co-op at a reasonable price. Obviously, other pizza brands are available. We're not condoning the use of Chicago town.
Other supermarkets are available, and if you're lucky, you may see Tim Fulbrook in his other job.
But if you just look down to the AM battle, you got Dimitri Schenk You got Bas van Mellis and you got Colin Hines actually battling quite bad for the first spot in the AM class.
When you say battling quite bad, do you mean they keep hitting each other, or do you mean they're in a really close battle?
Sorry for my English. I know.
I'd say it's these Swedes, Chris. I tell you, I don't know what they're.
I never liked vegetables. I like the bacon.
Yeah, well, everybody likes bacon, so yeah. No, it's quite good to see after, well, 45 minutes of race, and you still got the top 3 guys in the AM class battling out under just about a second between each other, and it's just too bad our producer doesn't see what I see. So maybe hopefully we can see within a short time. Here we go.
Have you got a work permit?
It's too busy taking Nicky out of us too.
Yeah, I know. But we have to just to admire these wonderful cars.
Sorry, I was watching the battle for 3rd place, but yeah, crack on.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, but we have to sort of like everybody's moaning when everybody's showing the top 3 guys all the time. We have to see all the field.
You're absolutely right, but I think you'll find we might be watching the top 3 in AMP now. So you just can't win, can you?
No, I know. After all the requests, we finally see the top 3 in the AM class getting it through, getting it down on the tarmac and just racing each other. That's great.
It is, and closing in on Sem. Is it fair to say, gents, or is Sem holding them?
No, they're definitely closing up to him. Maybe that can actually cause a bit of a riot between the guys behind him, because they're still fighting for position. So Sam is just not going to let it go past without a little bit of a fight, or maybe just struggling with the car a little bit. We saw him got taken out 2 times just within. Well, it was basically the same corner, more or less. Him coming sideways, getting punted off 2 times. So maybe he's struggling with a little bit of a damage on the car.
Yitzy says in the chat there, Sem casually smoking another set of rear tyres. Yeah. As he does.
I tell you what. I mean, you know, I think you guys were a bit harsh on Danny Deswart, saying that he was pitting too late and he needed to get in, because he's come back out and he's now the man that's the quickest on track. I know Pilco's got a bit of a cushion, and dare I say, he may be taking it easy, but Deswart is lapping round about 3 or 4 tenths a lap quicker than Pilco at the moment. And while there's only 10 minutes left, Deswart is he's put 4 seconds between himself and Vallendup behind him, and he's brought that gap down from nearly 6 seconds to 4.5 seconds. So, you know, it could be a bit of a charge. Is Pilco going easy? Can he respond, or is Pilco doing everything he can?
Did we not have this at one of the previous rounds that I assisted in this flamboyant commentary on, where we
got it wrong?
Pilco was taking it easy and said he was driving his heart out, or the other way around. I can never remember.
Yeah, it's always awkward when they come in for an interview at the end and you were just talking all over the stream saying how he must be taking it easy, and he comes in and he tells you it's one of the hardest races of his life, and he was absolutely sweating it.
Yeah, and it wasn't even summer.
No. Well, I think that's it's a youthful terminology that some of them use now. They sweat it or something. I'm not really sure. Yeah. Ask Kieran. Kieran knows all those terminologies.
Well, he would do. He's only 15 into that lesson. Waiting for the reaction.
Sorry, I'm doing my production bit now. I'm looking for more battles so Brian doesn't give me a hard time.
Sorry, I'm just looking for some info on Aaron and Danny, and it looks like they got Aaron just got past the back marker. I believe it was Young.
Garlin with a drive-through as well, Brian. Garlin with a drive-through.
Sorry, I didn't see that story. I'm just looking at what could actually hold up that swarm, and you got a backmark Young, which is actually the only obstacle between him and Aaron. So, and still looking through the lap times, Swart is still lapping, wow, half a second quicker than Aaron. So, it could be a battle to win. 9 minutes and 25 seconds to go.
Has he got enough laps? Has he got enough laps to close this gap down and make a battle? In my opinion, I'd say no.
No, because Aaron's got a, well, I would say quarter of a track, third of a track clear in front of him. So Aaron doesn't have any issues with back markers or anything. So I think not saying too much too early, but I think.
Oh, come on, Brian! Stop being so non-committal and get it wrong for a change. Come on.
I remember the charity race, and I commented how positive everybody was, and just saying that people start to take each other out, and but I must admit, Aaron with a quarter of a track free in front of him, it should be a clear run to the checkered flag, to be honest. Dennis Swart doing everything he can, still punishing with just taking a little bit out each lap, but I think it's too late, to be honest, and still having to clear one back marker before having to get a clear run behind Aaron. So it looks like Aaron got this one in the back, but we're still watching this AM battle, and this could go each other way, every other way you like it, to be honest.
It could, but Sem's not AM, Sem's actually pro.
I know, but we're still talking about the three guys behind Sem.
Yes, yeah.
Which is the top three in AM, and you actually, this is maybe the battle to watch to the end.
Sorry, I'm just reading the chat, yes.
Yeah, I was.
The Murray quotes.
But you don't want to listen to me, but you're reading the chat. That's fair enough.
The thing is, Murray Walker. The big difference was Murray Walker was very talented.
That's very true, and he did actually know a bit about what he was watching.
He knew when he was putting those quotes out there that were going to be proved wrong instantly. He knew that. It was there for entertainment value. We genuinely think we're right.
Well, the comms are always right. It's just down to the producer to give the right directions.
Have you ever heard of the saying herding sheep?
Oh, it was all the expression was herding cats.
Yeah, would be easier.
Yeah. Has Dimitri got a run on Sem here?
Yeah, but Sem is really keeping the Maserati really wide.
Has Bass got a run on Dimitri?
Oh.
Very difficult from that camera angle to see.
Blame the producer again.
I'm not going to blame the producer. I think you do a fantastic job.
Have you, Chris? Have you actually noticed that our producer is puffing it?
I think we're actually assisting with his
okay.
illness.
Yeah.
So we would expect to be paid for that as doctor's fee, I would have thought. As Dimitri goes wide there. And does this give Baz a chance to go into the third corner?
Oh, it does.
Can we get close? Go on, Baz. No, I'm supporting Baz on it.
It's coming down to the far chicane now.
I think Dimitri
Come to the Kleiner chicane. Oh, this is going to be close. Too wide.
Oh, huge respect, but I think Bass has just took a drive-through for that. Not drive-through, sorry.
No, he didn't get anything.
A track limit.
Yeah.
Depends how many of those he's taken throughout the race.
I think it was his chance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't. To be honest, I don't think he'll get another one. 5 minutes to go in the race, so that's what, 3 laps.
About 3 laps. I think he'll get another chance.
Yeah.
But Sem's gone. he seems opportunity to go and smoke his tyres a bit further.
Yeah, he's been struggling with this Maserati with no aids, no driver aids whatsoever. It's it's a big car. It's a big car to race with in these conditions. Bear in mind that all the others got all these electronic aids, which he hasn't. So, but still, it's nice to see somebody takes this challenge. Like we have the Denise Pope and the Gianetta. So it's good to see.
It is, and there's 4 minutes of this race left, and Danny de Swart is only 2.6 behind Aaron now. Is he going to go down to the wire?
Yeah, but it looks like Aaron is sort of like managing. He was 0.2 of a second off Danny de Swart's time on the previous lap. So let's see what the times are when they've crossed the finish line just around now.
3.4.
Yeah. Oh, Dennis de Swart almost a second quicker, 0.8 of a second quicker than Aaron on this last lap. But I think knowing Aaron and knowing what he's able to do, also with him pitting a lot earlier than Danny, so a couple of laps left. I think he will manage this to the end, to be honest.
Dimitri's got past Sem. Dimitri's got past Sem Stenkley into 8th place. And Bart is a second behind Yannick now, so is Bart going to have one final push to try and get 3rd place and get a few more points? This is all going to pan out in the next 2 3/4 minutes.
Yeah, Bart is a bit quicker, 0.4 of a second over the last lap from Yannick. So it could be he's 1.3 seconds off. So it could be coming down to the wire with some of these guys. Nice to see Dimitri got past Sam to take this 8th place and the top place in the AM class.
I think Bass will still lead it. He's 10th place. So at the moment he's only 0.6 behind Sem himself. So there's still a chance for him.
Yeah, they're still battling with him and Heinz down in 11th place. So it's going to be. Well, it's going to be down to the wire for a lot of these guys. See if somebody makes a mistake just before race end. 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Bass is going to go past them here. Is he?
He is trying, but so generous. So generous with the space. That's good to see. Not pushing his way through, but really driving around, and that's really good to see.
Colin Hines has got through as well.
Saying that. Sorry about that.
That was very ambitious.
That was ambition over grip, I think that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Chris Hines just making it too wide and really trying way too hard, to be honest.
Pilco's going to come round and start the final lap now, and it's Danny de Swart. If only he'd have had another 3 or 4 more laps, he could have probably closed that gap and put a challenge on it. The way he's been closing, as you said, Brian, he's been closing round about sort of 6 to 7 tenths a lap in the last few laps, so he's really got the hammer down. But I think Pilco's done enough at the moment as he does start the final lap. With only 20 odd seconds on the clock, so he's going to bring this home, all being well, for win number 6 of out of 7 races. That's not a bad ratio at all, I don't think.
No, but just looking at the lap times, he was actually Danny has been 0.6, 0.7 of a second up the last couple of laps. chasing down Aaron, and looking at the last lap times, Aaron was 0.1 of a second off. So Aaron definitely have seen him coming for a bit, and just started to maybe put the pace up a little bit, just to make sure that he will actually get this win.
Yeah.
What he doesn't want to do is take too many track cuts if he's already had some, and get that crucial drive through for that one last cut that you don't want to make, and you sometimes do. I mean, I'm just speculating here because I've got nothing else to talk about.
No, but it is true, because we've been talking about the second sector with the fastest time, and Aaron has been leading the pack through the second sector, and that's actually where you got this chicane where you really get on the curbs and get the cars through.
Yeah, but there it is. That's Aaron Martin Pilkington coming to take the win at Zolder with a great drive, great qualifying session from him. Really deserved that. Danny de Swart, runner-up, did really well to close that gap down. Valenduk hung on to third place. Bart Zewenk in fourth place, couldn't quite take the fight to Yannick on that one, and has lost some points. Sandervale very happy with the fifth place, and it's looking like Dennis Workman in sixth place for him. Abranoza looking to come round in seventh place in the BMW. Some really good drives here, Chris, and some good performances all round, really.
Yeah, but I don't know what you can say about that we haven't already said about Pilko and his driving and the race wins he's had throughout the year. Doesn't ever seem to give up. That early pit stop for him has proved crucial. Obviously he'll correct us when he comes in for the interview, as he always does, and says, yeah, I'd already planned that.
A big shout out, Chris, to Bas Van Mellis on screen there. Absolutely gutted that he got taken out there so close to the end after he got past Sem. That was pretty harsh and very unfortunate for him, but yeah, absolutely, it's just part of racing though, isn't it, as the guys are all now going back to the pits, and hopefully we're going to get one or two of them in for an interview.
That
Yeah,
should be
good race, to be honest. I mean, we had a few incidents, but still only a few. I mean, we had a good battle in the ended race with the AM drivers. Chris Hines may be a little bit ambitious about coming into corner one, but yeah, we found that the pit stop strategy actually helped out Aaron. If he knew that he was coming out in a little bit of free space, we can actually get the hammer down. We don't really know, but it seemed like he was working his way and being able to get his head down, not having to going through all these tough battles which he had for the first 12 laps. So, but still, all in all, good race. Few incidents, but I would say it was down to a normal minimum, wouldn't you, Chris?
Yes, I forgot what the question was.
About the incidents.
Yeah, there was very few. Is that the correct answer for tonight?
That was perfect answer. It couldn't be better.
While we're talking about correct answers, I love the way Lottie in the chat has corrected my deliberate mistakes. Thank you, Lottie. That you've passed the audition for commentary. If you want to jump in the commentary bot next week, you are more than welcome, because we won't be here.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
know. I
was just thinking that. I was going to correct you. We're not here next week. What are you going on about? Oh, dear.
Good race, to be honest. Good race.
So did you enjoy your first taste of GT4s and the SSRI championship, Brian?
I must admit, I normally enjoy most of the races with you guys, you know. Some is easier than others, and this one has been, I wouldn't say it's been easy, but it's been a good race, and there's been time to look around the field and having to look down the AMs because they're sort of like on a separate championship. So
well,
and there's been some really good battles around there as well.
Well, without further ado, I think, Chris, could you lead us into the commentary with some questions now for the drivers that have joined us, and crack on with the interviews, my friend?
I will try my best. So, Aaron, that looks like it was your 6th win of this season out of the 9 races we've had. How does that stack up for you?
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, to be fair. Me and Balanduke were going at it a lot early on, and it was starting to frustrate me a bit. So I made an emergency pit stop, and yeah, it kind of worked out for me. So I was pretty lucky there.
So that wasn't a planned pit stop then. So in the commentary team, then I think I won that one.
That makes you happy.
It does make me very happy. So this is the point where I'm supposed to ask you loads of sensible questions, Aaron. And here's one for you. What size shoes do you take?
8. European size, yeah.
8 European. Thank you very much for that.
I've got a question for Aaron. That is a sensible one. At any point in that race, Aaron, were you sort of thinking that, obviously thinking about the championship, and obviously, you're in control of the championship, and when you sort of dropped back in the early part, you dropped, Diswart got past you and you got down to 3rd place. At any point did you think, what, I'm just going to settle for what I get here, not push too hard? Was that playing on your mind at all, or did you know you just had the pace to win tonight and that you were going to go for it?
I felt like I had the pace, and that was a frustrating thing, because I don't think Zolder is a good-natured overtaking track, and I didn't mean to try and go down the inside of Balanduke on the 2nd chicane, and I was like, oh no, this is not going well, and Laguna was an absolute nightmare for me, so I really wanted to do well. And I have been saying that for the most of the championship I didn't want to win it, but I kind of do, especially with Monza's the last race. So I'm not going to lie to you there, Steve.
So when you watch the replay back, when you watch the stream back, you will forgive me when you sent it up the inside there, and the commentary team, i.e. me, says, Aaron, that's not going to work. You just forgive me, because yeah, it did look a little bit like, I said to.
I didn't mean to.
No, yeah. I said to the guys, both cars have. That is a difficult place to get a pass done. It's not impossible. Both cars have got to be very, very compliant to get through there side by side without coming to grief. But no, I think it was a great drive tonight, and it just showed some proper quality, and it just showed some patience as well, because you said you were getting frustrated, but you sat there, didn't really make too many mistakes apart from, like you say, that one, but then you sort of reassessed and you went into the pits and came back out, and to be fair, it was the right call, because we said you were caught in a little bit of no man's land at one point. We thought if you pit too early, there's always the risk, isn't there, of coming back out into traffic and getting held up even more.
Yeah, they're definitely a gamble, and for me, the pit stop wasn't planned. It was planned as I was going towards a pit stop, but at the time I didn't get. I finished the race on 40 litres, and my tyres were shagged. I was just pushing so hard, and yeah, no, I know Danny Diswart was catching me at a rate of knots, so it was just lucky really that the race finished when it did, because I don't think it would have lasted much longer.
Oh, well, great stuff, mate. And Chris, sorry, mate, that was my one question. I'll hand it back to you.
No, I think the question that I was going to ask was exactly the same as yours, only a different way. But out of the races of the season, Aaron, how does this rank? One of your better races, one of your more controlled races, or not your least favourite race? I know it's a strange question, but you'll get to know.
Well, the action was pretty good. And I really wanted to, like I said, Laguna was a nightmare, and I don't really want to talk about that race. But I really wanted to prove to myself that I could come back and do well, and I put a little bit more time into this race. But as it stacks up, I'm missing Bart. I was expecting Bart to be there, and we battled pretty much throughout the championship with a handful of other people, and I didn't really see him today. So I wouldn't say it was the greatest race, but I would say Bathurst was probably my favourite so far this season.
Great to watch you as always, and let's see what happens at Monza in the final round. You confident for it?
Yeah, I've already got the tune set up. I'll be all right.
Well, Kieran said in the chat. Kieran has said in the chat that he helped you develop your setup for this race. In fact, he's claimed all glory for it.
He should.
And if he didn't say that, I'm just mixing it, to be honest.
No, he I have to say, since the update, it's really like knocked my confidence quite a lot with ACC, and so he's definitely been there to help me get back on track, and I feel like I'm getting there. So, yeah, massive thanks to Kieran for that as well, spending the time to do that with me.
You know what? That's absolute pleasure to hear that you work as effectively teammates in a way to assist each other. That's great to hear. So you're the actual one that owes him a pizza then, not SSRI. So
yeah, but he's on a no carb diet, so I won't be getting him any pizza. I'll get him a salad or something.
He was claiming in the chat that he was expecting a pizza to arrive.
Vegan pizza. Vegan pizza.
But thank you very much for tonight, Aaron. Thank you for dropping in the interview.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your race win.
Yeah. See you next time, guys.
See you soon. And I think next up will be the Duke of Hazard himself, Mr. Yannick Valenduc. How was your race, Yannick?
Evening, Chris. Wow. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I kind of lucked into the lead in turn 1, and then I tried to hold on to it, but my pace was pretty terrible. So yeah, I was kind of expecting someone to undercut me, and I was basically accepted it that one of them was going to do it. And yeah, Aaron deserved the win, I think. So congrats to him.
So is this your second race of the season?
It is, yeah. And I was I was really struggling with the brakes on this track. I actually won this track last season, but it felt so different somehow. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
You don't think that could perhaps be the 1.8 update?
Probably, yeah.
That's thrown you a bit.
Yeah, on Laguna it was fine, but here it was really hard.
Okay, and obviously you're not racing that much this season. Have you been following all the rest of the races?
I've seen all of them until the one that I joined, yeah. And yeah, I really fancied joining the grid now that I can't be on the sport field anyway. So yeah, I joined that.
Good. So you'll be here for Monza then?
When is that one? Is it in 2 weeks or later?
Middle of January, 11th of January, as far as I remember.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, then I'll be there for that one. Yeah, then I've just returned. Yeah.
Excellent.
You had some good battles with Aaron for a long time, and we were actually from the beginning we were like, you took him out of turn 1, and it just seemed like there was places where he actually caught you up, and we saw in qualifying he was really strong in sector 2, but it seems like he was getting close to you, but he wasn't really into striking distance. But you still had amazing pace through the first part of the race. Did you burn your tires out, or were you struggling with braking as you said, or what was the problem?
Yeah, my brakes were really starting to feel strange after a few laps, and yeah, he was definitely quicker in the middle sector, as you said, but that's of course very hard to overtake.
Yeah,
I think he took almost 3 tenths out of me in the first chicane and 2 tenths in the second one. Yeah. But as long as I just positioned the car right, he couldn't really do something. So I fancied just driving there basically until he made that move, and I got a little bit of damage, and I felt kind of like not fighting it as hard, but then he fell back, and then he came. And well, I just continued basically.
Yeah, because you had Danny all of a sudden into second place behind you. And did he give you any more pressure than Aaron did, or were you just being able to keeping it off your rear end?
I don't know. The pressure was pretty similar. I think at first Danny was a bit more aggressive, maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to put me off and make a move, but after a while he stopped that, and until I made a mistake, he wasn't really able to do anything either. So it was kind of similar.
All right. Okay.
Well, thanks for your time, Yannick, and we look forward to seeing you next race.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See ya.
And I think we should bring in Dimitri now, because I think he finished ahead of Bass, who's also joined us in the commentary. So, Dimitri, how was your race tonight?
Yeah, I finished ahead of Bas. That basically summed it up. It was awesome. I had a decent start for once. I actually gained some positions, and usually I lose some positions at the start. And that was great. And I made a pretty big mistake, I think, turn 2, and I hit both Bart Swearing and Sam. So I might have had something to do with Bart not being up there together with Aaron Martin. But I think Bart could continue, and I wanted to let Sam by, and then I could see him spinning again in my rear mirror. So I continued on, had a pretty decent race, and luckily when I did a pit stop, I was right in front of Sam exiting it, so I was able to give the place back anyway.
Cool. So it didn't look like there was much damage to your car if you did have an incident with Sam.
No, I think it was 3 seconds, so I didn't repair it in the pit stop.
So it's very minor.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've got to put you on the spot here. You've organised this season. How do you think the season's gone so far?
Well, at least I'm enjoying it, and I don't hear any complaints from the competitors. So the participants, they seem to be enjoying it. So it's really tight. It's really close. We have some, I must say, huge respect to all the drivers, because we are racing on some really tight tracks this season. Zolder is really difficult to overtake, and lots of opportunity for carnage. And I don't think we saw major incidents. Mine might be one of the bigger ones. But also on Snetterton and Alton Park, and it is really well behaved. So I'm massively proud on all the drivers.
Yeah, Brian mentioned at the end of the race that there was very few incidents that we could commentate on. That there was actually very few replays. Now, whether that's because Steve was trying to concentrate on helping us with the commentary, or whether there was generally very few replays to throw out, we won't know. We'll interrogate him afterwards with a bright, shiny torch. But yeah, the racing, certainly from what I've been watching recently, has been good and quite clean. Now, unfortunately, there are a few people that are signing off from the race because they're saying the cars doesn't suit them after this last update. Has it affected you at all?
Yeah, it has. The Merc is a completely different car to drive now, and I think I managed to adapt to it, especially on braking. You lose, it starts sliding very, very, very quickly. In my old style of driving, so I really had to adapt, and you have to let go of the brake much earlier and really go on easy on the brake, easy into the corner, and then flat out exiting the corner. So yeah, trail braking is massively important, because otherwise the car is just sliding all over the place. And I think it's a bit the same with other cars, maybe a bit exaggerated with the Merc, and I think Sam in the Maserati has a tough job as well. But I think it's a question of adapting to it. I'm really starting to like it now. In the beginning I didn't, but I'm really starting to like it right now. So yeah, it's different. But I guess it's for everyone. It's different after the patch.
Thank you very much for your time, Dimitri.
I have to say, Chris, I want to thank Bas, because we had an awesome fight going into, I think it's turn 4 and then into the chicane. I didn't know it was possible to go side by side through those corners, but we did, and we kept it clean. So massive thanks to him.
Yeah, we were looking at that, Dimitri, and we were actually saying that you also with the few incidents there was in the race, it's great to see that people are racing each other through 60 minutes and coming side by side. It was still amazing to see that they weren't just shutting each other out, but they were actually leaned in enough to sort of like acknowledge that they had a competitor side by side and not pushing him wide or pushing him out. So it's just great to see, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Turn 4, I really kept to the outside, so because he was on my inside, and he kept to the inside, and the same the other way around at the chicane. So live and let live, and I think we both finished in the top 10. So that's great.
Yeah, it just goes to show it's a great group of drivers who is actually well aware what's happening around them and not just pushing through and getting somebody caught out. So that's great to see. I mean, that's real racemanship, to be honest.
Yeah, thanks. I agree.
Thank you very much for your time, Dimitri. Thank you for organising this this season, and we look forward for what you're coming up with next season with Bated Breath. And last, let's bring in Bass. Bass, unfortunately, we did see you have a little incident towards the end of the race. I think Colin was a bit ambitious trying to get down your inside, but you didn't get taken out off the track and unrecoverable. You seem to manage to catch hold of it and carry on. Only lost a couple of places, if I'm correct. How was the race for you overall?
Well, it was an intense race. Zolder is one of my favorite tracks. I really like it out there, and it's obviously fun to drive. And yeah, I was Colin was very ambitious in the second to last corner, but I think he got caught out by Sam, who had to brake quite early with the Maserati, and then he just went into the side, but I could catch it somehow, and I believe I was still second in class. And if I'm correct, that makes me the winner of the AM Championship, but I need to do the calculation still. So well,
you are. I think you are the winner of the AM Championship, and you know what you get for that?
Nothing.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, because we've not bought any prizes because we're too tight.
Ah, that's too bad. I was hoping for a car or something like that, but that's not in the cards then.
You can have a picture of one.
You can choose whichever car you want in ACC.
Ah, that's brilliant. Thanks a lot.
So yeah,
Steve was actually Chris. Steve was actually saying just before we went into broadcasting that you were actually the man to watch because you've been keeping your head down and just getting good results, and but not really being mentioned. So are you ready to step up for the Pro Series for the next season, or how do you feel? Where do you feel you are competitor-wise with the other drivers?
I think that first of all, you do not have to that you shouldn't underestimate the difference in cars because plain and simple, if Sam would be in a competitive car, he would be up there fighting with the top three.
Yeah.
And the Porsche is well, it's one of the better cars together with the M4, I think.
Yeah.
And I do think that I'm able to finish top 10, but I don't know if I'm good enough for the podiums already. But it's just a matter of doing a lot of practice. I also decided to drop out of the GT3 championship and fully focus on GT4 the last two races. Okay. And that's paid dividends. So also with Dimitri, fun fights on track always, and respectful, as you said. So really happy with that.
Would you go into the pro class for the next season for the GT4s?
I'm afraid I have to.
Right. Okay. So which car would you choose?
I really like the Porsche, and I'm secretly hoping that they bring out the Super GT4 in the oncoming few weeks. But I'm afraid that will take a bit too long. But then I think I'll just stick with the Porsche because I really like the way it handles and it's nice and nimble. But I'll have a look in the off season and do some testing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Greatly appreciate you coming to chat to us, Bass. It's always a pleasure to hear you. Hear your comments. And I think you do join quite often, don't you, for the commentary at the end? So thank you very much for taking the time to do that.
That's because he normally wins.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
In class, you have to add in class there.
Yeah, but we look forward to your next season with the pro. So we'll book a spot for you in the comms after the race.
I'll try and do my best and see what I can do there.
Okay.
Cheers, guys. Have a nice evening.
And you, Baz. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So that concludes the broadcast for tonight. But Brian, are you coming back to watch more of the series, even though there's only one championship left?
Yeah, it was a good race, to be honest. I mean, with the amount of racing I've done with several guys, everybody enjoys a good race. Everybody enjoys that you sort of like acknowledge that if you make a mistake, you let people by in a good manner and not just taking them out. So, and from what I saw tonight, there was a few incidents. Sam being some sort of like a punchback through a couple of the corners, going really sideways, more than what we normally see. But it was, all in all, to be honest, really decent race. Good overtaking. Of course, you got the pit stop strategy, which worked brilliant for Aaron, even though he said he was struggling for the end of the race with the tires. But I must admit, it was all in all a good race. I mean, good battles, really decent behavior towards fellow competitors. So, what's not to like?
Well, we'll welcome you back into the commentary box at some stage, maybe next race. But let's see if Mr. Fullbrook is back to join us. But just to close off for the evening, it's another win for Aaron Martin Pilkington, and with the lead he's got now, he's almost guaranteed himself the championship. So all that remains to say is it's good night from myself, good night from Brian, and good night from the backroom boy, Steve Proudly.
Good night.
So thank you very much, everybody.